Happy to be here with my brothers on Blog. Ready to get to it, man. I'm so excited about this show. You pay yourself a professional athlete, and you get paid to catch the ball and can't. Like, that just makes no sense to me.
Biggest takeaway is that if you are a West Coast team, take your behind to the East Coast 2 days beforehand so you can at least get 1 day acclimated to the time difference.
The effort they put up against the Warriors, lethargic, pitiful. We won't give too many more words to it, so we're going to move on.
And here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, the Big Game Christian Sports Network proudly presents Donny Epting, Dwayne Sutton, and Willie Epting. And they are in the zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we welcome you to the In the Zone Sports Show here on the official broadcast station of the Dallas Charge. Pro Fast Pitch Softball on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. This edition of the In the Zone Sports Show is being brought to you by Pure Flix. Enjoy faith and family movies, TV shows, and educational programs anytime, anywhere for only $7.99 per month. Sign up for your 30-day free trial by going to bgcsports.net on the BGC Sports app and click on the Pure Flix banner and start your free trial today. Welcome to the In the Zone Sports Show. I am the Captain, Donny Epting. It's great to talk to you once again after a week hiatus. We just want to apologize to everyone. Hey, sometimes in life things take place, schedules get mixed up, and things don't happen. So we're back, and with me is my brother of Blog. We're missing one tonight, but we've got the other brother here, my big brother, Willie Epting Jr. Willie, say hello to the people, man.
What's happening, world? Donnie, what's going on, sir?
Man, not too much, man. It was good to see you last weekend out in your state of Texas. And once again, it's good to talk to you, man. As always, great to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And shout out to our boy, Dwayne Sutton. Unfortunately, hey, like we say, things come up in life. He's unable to join us on this edition, but of course we know he is definitely with us. And Dwayne, hey, we look forward to getting you back on and talking sports and chopping it up with you again real soon. All right. Well, Willie, it's you and me, man. Are we ready to do this thing that we do so well?
We are ready.
All right. And here we go. We want to pause and give our thoughts and condolences and prayers to the family of the legendary Muhammad Ali, who passed away on Friday, June 3rd, out in the Phoenix area at a hospital. And in death, yeah, it's easy to mourn and to, you talk about the stories and sing the songs and the whole nine. But in this case, we want to celebrate the life of Muhammad Ali. He's gone at the age of 74 years old. Muhammad Ali was born in Louisville, Kentucky in 1942, January 17th of 1942, as Cassius Marcellus Clay. His mama named him Clay. We're going to call him Clay, just for this instance. He was born Cassius Marcellus Clay in Louisville, Kentucky. Lived to be 74 years old. A lot of folks say he's the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. Scratch that. He is in my opinion, the greatest boxer of all time. I don't care what weight. I don't care what class. Willie Epting Jr., let's get you in here, man. Muhammad Ali, he's no longer with us, but we're going to celebrate his life here on the In the Zone Sports Show. And let's get your thoughts in here on the passing of Muhammad Ali.
Well, I'm glad you said we're going to celebrate his life, because that's just what we should do. As we get older, we do understand that death is a part of life, and that is what we should do, is celebrate all of his accolades and accomplishments. I'm like you, Donnie. I believe that he is easily, if not the top, probably one of the top three all-time greatest fighters pound for pound. As you said, he was born Cassius Clay. His mama named him Clay. We gonna call him Clay, as they did in the barbershop on Coming to America when they were discussing the greatest fighters of all time in the heavyweight class. You know, they were talking about Mike Tyson, Joe Louis.
That new boy. What's his name? Tyson.
Rocky Marciano, all the greats that had come before him. But Ali was much more than an Olympic champion and much more than a prize fighter and a champion. He was a man, and he was a man that transcended confidence and instilled empowering things into not only the African American race and community, but worldwide. I mean, I remember hearing reports how he was helping with kids in Zaire and in the Congo. All of the accomplishments in the ring, charismatic, brash, confident, even cocky at sometimes. That embodies several of the characteristics that you see in our community as well as the world. Some of his greatest quotes, and I didn't really start paying attention to the quotes until my own mindset began to adjust, and how I've learned how to become a bit of a mindset coach myself. Just let me run down a few of them if I may, Donnie.
You may.
He said, "I knew I was the greatest even before I became the greatest." Also, the canvas is no place for a champion. One of my favorites that he said, "Don't count the days, make the days count."
That's mine right there, man. Wow.
Yeah. And my all-time favorite is this one: "Live every day like it's your last, because someday you are going to be right." And that is how Muhammad Ali lived. He lived like every day was his last, and fulfilling his own, for the lack of a better word, prophecy, if you will. Even with the afflictions that he suffered through, this last one that actually went ahead and caught him on home, the Parkinson's disease, and the thing with the headshots from just being in the ring. It encompasses everything who he was as a man, as a fighter, as a person. You can make the argument that Muhammad Ali was the first rapper.
Right.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. His hands can hit what his eyes can't see.
Right.
Now you see me, now you don't. George thinks he will, but I know he won't. And of course, he was talking about when he was getting ready to fight George Foreman for the title. So, rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. Prayers and condolences are with you and your family and everyone that was connected to you, which actually includes us.
Indeed, because without Muhammad Ali taking social stands and stances the way he did, a lot of the things that especially African Americans in this country, they wouldn't be able to do without a lot of the things Muhammad Ali did back in his day. Man, I don't know, Willie, if you've seen, but man, there's this photo of Muhammad Ali, and was it Bill Russell? Is it Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? I mean, you just have this meeting of the minds. African Americans in sports, but what they all did in sports paled in comparison to what they did in life, and they were better men for what they did outside of the ring or outside of the court or the arena or what have you. Muhammad Ali, I've looked at his record, his fight record. Some of the places he's fought in this on this planet: Switzerland, Ireland, Japan. You've got Puerto Rico, Germany, the Bahamas, New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay, I just had to throw that one in there. Love New Orleans. The Congo, Indonesia, California, Nevada, of course. I mean,
Zaire.
Yeah, thank you. London,
the Philippines.
The Philippines, the Thriller in Manila. Every time I went to Manila, man, and I would just think about that and just start laughing. I mean, and he went over there and he whooped Joe Frazier. You just have to think about the impact that Muhammad Ali had not only on this country, but worldwide. He was a global ambassador. And I'll tell you, man, I don't think you'll ever see another athlete / man like Muhammad Ali. You know, we have current guys like your LeBron Jameses of the world, your Steph Currys of the world. You know, you have your soccer stars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, guys like that. Man, I don't think anybody's ever going to pale in comparison to what Muhammad Ali did in the ring, outside of the ring. He took a stance, military. Man,
yes, indeed.
It's mind blowing to read about and hear about some of the things that he did. To hear some of his competitors, his colleagues talk about him. Saw George Foreman earlier this week on CBS This Morning, and George Foreman, same thing as we said. Let's celebrate his life. That's exactly what George did. George was telling the jokes. You know, George was like, hey, man, if a dude beat you that many times, you got no choice but to like him in the end.
Yeah, you know what's even funnier about that is that it was interviewed on Mike and Mike, ESPN, and John Sally asked him, George Foreman, so he hit you so hard that you named all of your children George. And George Foreman came back and said, well, you let Ali hit you and see what kind of names you come out with.
Exactly. Exactly, man. Some of the names that Ali went toe-to-toe with in the ring. Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson, Joe Frazier we've mentioned, Ken Norton. Yeah, the Ken Norton Jr., who's the defensive coordinator of the Oakland Raiders, that's his dad, Ken Norton Sr., who fought against Muhammad Ali. Of course, George Foreman. Leon Spinks.
Leon Spinks, yeah. Leon Spinks beat him in Vegas, and Ali came back and won the rematch 7 months later down in New Orleans. Larry Holmes,
yeah. Larry Holmes was his second to last fight. He lost that one at Caesars Palace in Vegas. And the last fight of Ali's career was Trevor Berbick. And Berbick was a guy who was thoroughly dominated by Mike Tyson in one of Mike Tyson's first big fights. There are, I should say, services that have been held this week, both Thursday and Friday in Louisville, Kentucky for Muhammad Ali. The Thursday service was a designed service, Muslim service, by Muhammad Ali himself. Man, wow. And the Friday service is open to the public at the KFC Yum Center. Ali fought so many times in Freedom Hall in Louisville. Of course, Freedom Hall became famous. That's where Denny Crum and his Louisville Cardinals also just kind of wreck shop in college basketball. But the hometown people will get to say their final goodbyes to the one, the only Cassius Marcellus Clay, later became Muhammad Ali. Willie, any last thoughts on Mr. Ali?
I think you hit everything right on the head, man. Back in Louisville, in his hometown, I heard a report that the reason or how he started boxing to begin with was because he was 12 years old and somebody stole his bike and he was mad enough to fight. And he went to this gym and they said, if you want to know how to fight, you better know how to fight.
Yeah.
And the rest, they say, is history.
Yes, indeed. And hey, man, I'm glad you read some of the quotes because I was looking at some of them too, man. Here's another one I want to just put out there real quick. I should be a postage stamp. That's the only way I'll ever get lit.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
But here's one of my favorites. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. That's a mouthful right there to describe the career and the life of Muhammad Ali. Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. All right. We also had another death in the sports world earlier in the week. Kimbo Slice, former UFC fighter, or MMA fighter, I should say. He passed away at the age of 42. Willie, we've got about 60 seconds left. Any words on Mr. Slice's passing?
Yeah, his birth name, Kevin Ferguson. One thing about Kimbo, or Fergie as he was called in Miami, he was a devoted father. He loved his kids, and he had an interview with Dan Le Batard on ESPN also, and he just talked about how everything he did was for his kids. I think we may have misunderstood Kimbo just because of his brash and brawn, the way he looked and everything. Turned into a movie star, appeared in several movies, became a very, very astute businessman too.
Indeed, and again, our thoughts and condolences out to Mr. Ferguson's family and those that surround him as well. All right, Willie, we're going to take our first time out. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the sports that are going on the court, on the field, and what have you. We'll do all that and more when we return here on the In the Zone Sports Show right after this brief timeout.
It's not a team without t-shirts.
Custom t-shirts from Custom Ink are the easy way to connect any group. Our online design lab makes it simple to create a shirt design that your group will love. Or you can easily upload your own logo. Whether you need one shirt or thousands, Custom Ink can print any size order. And we know you can't wait for your new t-shirts. That's why we offer free shipping, and on-time delivery is guaranteed. Get a free price quote today at customink.com.
All right, we welcome you back to this edition of the one, the only, In the Zone Sports Show here on the official broadcast station of the Dallas Charge Pro Fast Pitch Softball on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. This edition of the In the Zone Sports Show is being brought to you by Pure Flix. Enjoy faith and family movies, TV shows, and educational programs anytime, anywhere for only $7.99 per month. Sign up for your 30-day free trial by going to bgcsports.net or on the BGC Sports app and click on the Pure Flix banner and start your free trial today. Willie Epstein Jr., talk to me, man. How's it going?
Man, my wife is going to love to hear that. She always, I'm telling you, she listens to the show for that purpose and that purpose only.
What's going on, sister-in-law? We appreciate the love. All right, Willie. Yeah, it's Willie and Donny. Dwayne, unfortunately, is not with us. Shout out to Dwayne. Oh, Lord.
I was just thinking about that. I was thinking we probably need to get him in here on a recording so he could be inserted, but oh well.
Yeah, and I tried. Sorry, man. Don't talk about me forever.
Don't ever do that again.
Okay, Roger. All right, let's talk about the National Basketball Association's Championship Series, also known as the Finals. After 3 games, Golden State leads 2-1. After the first 2 games in Oakland, shout out to Oaktown, the Warriors,
5-1-0.
There you go. The Warriors had a commanding 2-0 lead, and it looked like, oh boy, Cavaliers are headed for a sweep. What's this going to do to LeBron's legacy? Is this the worst supporting cast that LeBron has had on an NBA Finals team? I saw that from Sports Illustrated. I'm like, that's easily the 2017.
Easily.
Yeah, easily. That team had no business being in the NBA Finals.
They had a player named Booby.
You know what, man?
Am I lying?
They had a player named Daniel Gibson. I'm not calling no grown man. Boom. The dude's name was Daniel Gibson. Okay? Man, you talking about some booby, man.
Let's move forward.
Man, we on the radio talking about boobies.
Let's move forward, please.
Okay. Anyway, as we mentioned, after 3 games, the Cavaliers have now gotten back in the series. Let's briefly run through each of the first 3 games and tell you what happened. In the first game, it was the Golden State Warriors taking a 15-point decision, 104-89. This is the game where Sean Livingston came alive, 20 points on 8 of 10 shooting. Yeah, Sean Livingston. probably most famous for breaking his leg early in his career when he was with the Clippers. And he's played with about, 30 NBA teams. I think he's played with 28 of them. But Sean Livingston, he scored 20 points in the NBA Finals, was the difference maker. Check this out, people. Sean Livingston scored 20 points. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry combined scored 20 points. Let that sink in. Golden State. Go ahead, Willie. I'm sorry.
And they won by 15.
And they won by 15, right. Golden State shot 49% from the field. The Cavaliers were led by Kyrie Irving's 26 points. But don't let that fool you, because he was 7 of 22 from the floor and 1 of 4, I should say, from three-point range, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. LeBron James chipped in with 23 points on 9 of 21 shooting. He also had 12 rebounds. Cleveland hung around in that first game for a little bit, especially into the third quarter, but they never really got it within 6 or 7, and Golden State was able to go ahead and dust off their way towards a Game 1 victory. Game 2, well, we'll tell you what the final score was first. Cleveland scored 77. Yeah, and Golden State had 110. Math majors, that's a how many point victory, Willie?
That is a 33-point victory.
Very good. Boy, I thought we were going to have to rescue you there. The particulars in Game 2.
I have a stat for you coming up, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Stat alert. Thank you. Draymond Green, 26 points on 11 of 20 shooting, 7 rebounds. His team was plus 20 when he was on the floor. Steph Curry, 18 points on 7 of 11 shooting, 4 of 8 from three-point range. And Klay Thompson, speaking of his mama named him Klay, we're going to call him Klay. Klay Thompson, 6 of 13, 4 of 8 from three-point range. He had 17 points. The Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 2, yikes. LeBron James scored 19 points, had 8 rebounds and 9 assists. Nearly messed around and got a triple-double in a 33-point defeat. Willie, do you know who was the second leading scorer for the Cavs in Game 2?
Craig Elo.
I was about to say, no, it was not Austin Carr. That's a shame you read my mind going way back.
Right.
It was Richard Jefferson. Yeah. Good old RJ. He had 12 points for the Cavs. The Cavs shot 35% in Game 2. Man, I could probably blindfold myself. Have you throwing me the ball for assists, I could probably shoot better than 35%. I'm just saying. After the first 2 games, the biggest point differential in NBA history between these first 2 games at a plus 48 for Golden State or a negative 48 for Cleveland. Willie, what was your stat before we go to Game 3? Or did I steal it?
No, you actually, it's part of what you just stated.
Okay.
After 3 games, now I really want you to go ahead and recap Game 3, but since you asked me to go ahead and tell you about it now, I'll do that. After 3 games of the NBA Finals, the point differential, 78 points. Since 2004, there's only been one other series that came close to that. And ironically, it was LeBron James was involved in it. 2013, when he with the Heat, or him with the Heat, or LeBron, or however you want to say it, him downstairs.
Yeah.
When LeBron was with the Heat and they played against the Spurs in the 2013 Finals, after 3 games, 59 points.
Wait, was that 13 or 14? That final series.
2013. It
was 13. Okay.
2000. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Spurs, and they actually ended up winning that series. So, we'll see.
Right. We'll see. Oh, one other note on Game 2. Kevin Love went out with a concussion, and that impacted his availability in Game 3. As Game 3 came, the scene shifted to the 216 Quicken Loans Arena. The arena was jumping. The crowd was jacked. It was a nice atmosphere. And the Cavaliers paid it in full by going wire to wire with a 120-90 victory. Willie, let's get your math in here again. That's a difference of how many points?
Dirty 30.
He said dirty 30. For the Cavaliers. Well, I'm going to put it this way for the Cavaliers. Kyrie Irving jump-started it. Had a spectacular first quarter. Let's tell you about Kyrie Irving's game stats first. He finished with 30 points, 12 of 25 from the floor, 8 assists. But like I mentioned, he got everything jump-started. Kyrie Irving was 7 for 9, 2 of 2 from 3 for 16 points in the first quarter. Here's a stat, Willie. Do you know how many points the Golden State Warriors scored in the first quarter?
They didn't score that many.
They scored 16.
Well, that's what I mean. They didn't score that many.
Oh, I got you. Like, as in not a lot of points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
That's
My
the
bad.
ticket.
My bad. I misread you wrong. Okay. So, hey, at the end of one, it was Kyrie Irving 16 and the Warriors 16. For the game, LeBron James, he poured in 32, 14 of 26 from the floor, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. There was this other dude who wears number 5 for Cleveland. He had been kind of I'm going to call him miscellaneous in the first 2 games. Not anonymous, miscellaneous, because we didn't know where the heck J.R. Smith was. But he showed up in game 3. Sometimes, hey, Willie is just, you go home, you have your own bed, you got your own rims, the ball bounces a little bit differently on your home floor. J.R. Smith proved that. Went home, 7 for 13, 5 of 10 from three-point range, 20 points. The team was plus 33 with J.R. Smith on the court. Can you say difference maker? Richard Jefferson started for Kevin Love. He scored 9 points. But it seemed to be that Cleveland had a little bit better of a different flow to their game without Kevin Love's services. Go ahead, Willie. Go ahead.
The reason why that is because starting Jefferson allowed them to go small from the jump. So what did that do? That put LeBron on Draymond. And I almost changed JR's name from J.R. Smith to MC Smith, as in Milk Carton Smith, as he was missing. But Draymond was also missing. So he is going to be on Milk Carton alert as well. But this is the thing that you have to understand with this particular tweak of the lineup, if you will. In the last series, Kevin Durant gave Draymond Green all kinds of problems with his length and his size. Same thing with LeBron. LeBron didn't have to worry about, moving his feet and trying to stay in front of Steph Curry or fighting over screens to guard Klay Thompson. He can stay with Draymond Green more, and he essentially shut him down, which led to them being shut down.
Right. Here's another factor in Game 3 that I would like to discuss if we can. Tristan Thompson. I mentioned Kyrie Irving kind of got things jump-started. But even as the Cavs built a big lead in that first half and throughout the second quarter, but there were some big rebounds that, as I call them, TT, got in the game for the Cavaliers. I mean, in the second quarter alone, he had 7 rebounds. 6 of them were offensive rebounds. The Cavs had 9 offensive rebounds in their second quarter. Second quarter only, people. And the Cavs had, for the game, 17 offensive rebounds. A lot of that was Tristan Thompson getting in there doing the dirty work, keeping alive possessions for his team, making sure that they got the extra shots so that they could sink Golden State. All right, so it's 2-1 after 3. Willie, I'm going to ask you the $1 million question. And we're going to go through his point totals from each game. But we're talking about the 2-time MVP, this year's unanimous MVP, Steph Curry. Okay, so game 1. Steph was 4-15 for 11 points. Game 2, he kind of shook out of it a little bit, but we still kind of waiting on that Steph Curry. 7 of 11 for 18 points. Game 3, 6 of 13, 19 points. He's been held in check pretty much. Willie, you get to be Steph Curry. What are you doing to shake yourself out of this mini slump that you're in?
Well, I think we need to give some credit to the Cleveland Cavaliers and their defense. I mean, Steph clearly isn't all the way 100%. We know from the leg injury, the 2 leg injuries, as a matter of fact, the ankle and the knee. As it gets later in the season, you start to feel that soreness a little bit more. But I think Cleveland has cooked up a pretty good game plan as far as how to defend him. They were a lot more physical with him in Game 3, not letting him get to his spots in a comfortable manner. He hasn't developed a rhythm yet. He's a 3-point shooter and one of the greatest shooters that I've ever seen. But all shooters require one thing, and that's rhythm, and he doesn't have it right now. So I don't want to just say that it's all on Steph and the fact that he's just not shooting it. Cleveland is the city where we come from, so run. Yeah, they are running him ragged because they are running at him and getting him off his spots, and thus for keeping him out of rhythm, and he's not able to just get off. Now, he did go off a little bit in Game 3 in the third quarter. I think he went for 12 points in the third quarter, but by that point, the game was already decided anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. He had pretty much. He had 13 in that third quarter of Game 3. But look, when LeBron James has a bad shooting night, he's often vilified. Oh, what's wrong with King James or Prince James or Duke James, whatever you want to call him. Kevin Durant. There were times in that series, that 7-game series between the Thunder and the Warriors, we were like, Kevin Durant, you're supposed to be one of the top 5 players in the world, and you out here playing like, Meadowlark Orange or something, not even Lemon.
Oh, my goodness.
Who is this kid? So Steph averaging 16 points a game in the first 3 games of the finals. He's the unanimous MVP. Hey, if we go and fault everybody else when they have bad games, we got to give Steph that same treatment, man. And right about now, he's stinking up the joint, so to speak. But I am with you, Willie. Definitely give the Cavaliers defense some credit. You make them work hard or harder to get those points. But the one thing that kind of scares me for the rest of the series, and we know that it's at least going 5, the one thing that scares me is that, yeah, those dudes have not really gotten off yet, that's Steph and Clay. And it's kind of like the perfect storm or the calm before the storm. You know it's coming. And for Cleveland, when it does take place, what are they going to do about it?
Well, is it really coming? Because they held him pretty much in check last year, too, in the finals.
To a degree, yes. But even still, it was in Steph's case anyway. A lot of folks believe that he should have won Finals MVP. Although I still say there was no way you don't give it to anyone other than Iguodala because he was a series changer when he was inserted into the lineup.
And you called it, I remember.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad somebody remembers my contributions to this thing. But I think it is coming. Like I said, we know it's at least going 5. Game 5 will be after the weekend, and we go back to Oakland, and that's on Monday. So we'll see what happens. I think we're in for a pretty long series. Like I mentioned earlier, Cleveland, I think they really just needed to get home.
Well, and if you look at it like this, I mean, okay, so they get beat by a combined 48 points in the first 2 road games in Oakland. Mm-hmm. Now, as we have always said, a series does not begin until a road win takes place. Mm-hmm. So this series hasn't started yet, based on that criteria. But look at the series that the Cavs are just coming off of when they blew out Toronto in the first 2 games, and Toronto went back to Canada and took 2 when they got home.
Exactly. And for Golden State, This is the 4th series of the playoffs. They've lost game 3 in all 4 series. At Rockets, at Blazers, at Thunder, at Cavs. So, I don't really know what all that means in the grand scheme of it because there are games left to be played.
It just means they lost.
Yeah, it just means they took an L. One more thing before we go to break. We got about 15 seconds left. How about that alley that LeBron caught and threw down last night or Wednesday night? Sorry, man, crazy athleticism that LeBron James has, man.
2 words: insane.
Yes. All right, good people. NBA Finals continuing on. We'll talk more about some football when we return here on the In the Zone Sports Show after this timeout.
Because Wendy switched to Geico and saved hundreds of dollars on car insurance, her vacation savings jar wants to pat her on the back. But it can't. It's a vacation savings jar. It doesn't have a palm to pat with. Even if it tried, it'd just spill change everywhere and make a mess. Switch to Geico, and every time you see the extra cash, you'll know your vacation savings jar wants to pat you on the back. But remember, it can't. It's a jar. It is, however, happy that you're saving money.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
All right, we welcome you back here to the In the Zone Sports Show on the one, the only Big Game Christian Sports Network, and that is right, we are the official home of the Dallas Charge, the official broadcast station of the Dallas Charge Pro Fast Pitch Softball. And this edition of the In the Zone Sports Show is being brought to you by Pure Flix. Enjoy faith and family movies, TV shows, and educational programs anytime, anywhere for only $7.99 per month. Sign up for your 30-day free trial by going to bgcsports.net on the BGC Sports app and click on the Pure Flix banner and start your free trial today. All right, Willie Epting Jr. back here on the In the Zone Sports Show along with Donny Epting. Before we move on to talk about some football, we just want to kind of give you some updates here real quick on the tennis side of things. Let's get some French Open here real quick. Really quick, Willie, he's trying to say. Women's champion, first-time Grand Slam winner is Garbiñe Muguruza, who defeated Serena Williams. Serena Williams has been trying to get to, as we call it, hashtag SW22, or her 22nd career major title, and her efforts were once again thwarted. She's still stuck at 21 by Miss Muguruza. The Spaniard wins her first major title and first of probably many to come, because Muguruza is one of those players who can hit the ball just as hard as Serena Williams. On the men's side, it was Novak Djokovic taking his 12th Grand Slam title. He defeated Andy Murray in a 1 versus 2 matchup. Check this out, Willie. Novak Djokovic currently holds all 4 Grand Slams. It's not a calendar Grand Slam, but he has won the last 4. So when you say who's the defending champion of whichever major you want to call out, it's Novak Djokovic, dude. Man, I wish I could be like him and go gluten-free and win some Grand Slams.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, dude is awesome, bro. He's really awesome. Like I mentioned, that's his 12th career major title. So congrats to both Muguruza and also Novak Djokovic, champions of the French Open, ladies and men's title list. All right, Willie, let's talk a little football here. We're going to start this off with some information about Denver Broncos. I would say both good and bad, but this is probably both bad and, we're going to say bad and confusing. First off, cornerback Aqib Talib was shot while at a nightclub in Dallas last weekend. Talib has told police investigators, hey man, I was too intoxicated to remember what happened. But there are reports coming out that he may have cheddar bobbed himself or shot himself in the leg. For those of you who may not understand cheddar bob, he was a guy on 8 Mile with Eminem who shot himself with his own gun. Willie, you're in Dallas. Talib is from Dallas. Can you help make some sense of this stuff, man?
Yeah, I can actually. he is a magnet for trouble. I mean, point blank.
Yeah.
Former Richardson Berkner High star, went on to Kansas University, starred there, has had plenty of run-ins with the law before. Just let me run down a few of them with you. 2008, while playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he gets into a fist fight with fellow rookie Corey Boyd. 1 year later, it took him a whole year. Talib, down in Florida, allegedly assaulted a taxi cab driver, booked and charged with simple battery and resisting arrest. 2011, back home in the D, in Garland, which is a suburb of Dallas, charged with a felony for firing a firearm. How about that? Felony firing firearm.
Right, that's a lot of alliteration there, Holmes.
Yes. His sister's boyfriend got bonded out on $25,000, but the case was dropped due to insufficient evidence. Now, this occurred at a nightclub, a well-known establishment here in the Dallas area. He's facing some other possible trouble with this because it is a felony under Texas law to carry a gun without a license.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So he's gonna. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to know anything about the law.
You don't play one on TV?
I don't play one on TV.
Okay.
Nor do I play one on these broadcasts. But that's going to be trouble for him. And when he's done with the investigation for the criminal part of it, the shield will be waiting for him.
Exactamundo. But if he shot himself, okay, I've got one word for these players, because this happened to Plaxico Burress back a few years ago too when he was with the Giants. And Plaxico, I think his suspension was way too harsh. But there's one word for these guys in these cases: holster. HOLSTER. Put the gun in a holster.
That is the official word for the In the Zone Sports Show spelling bee for this broadcast. Again, won by Donny Epting.
Hey, I'm the champ. The champ is here. It's kind of like we've talked about on the Brothers of Baseball shows. The guys getting popped for PEDs. How do these players continue to let this stuff happen? I don't know, man.
Can I answer that question?
Sure. Take a crack at it, sir.
There's two combinations with this. Money plus alcohol.
Never a good combination.
Well, I won't say never. It might be never a good combination for people like this.
Or rarely. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially a guy like Talib, who, like I said earlier, he's been in trouble with the law before involving a gun. What heaven forbid if something else would have happened and they would have gone to hit someone else and, they would have been tragically killed or something like that.
Right.
At some point, these guys have to be protected from themselves. And I think back to Pac-Man Jones and how they had to have a babysitter for him whenever he played for the Cowboys. I mean, Talib is 30 years old. He's not a baby. He's a veteran.
Not at all.
He's played. This is his third team. The Broncos are his third team.
Buccaneers, Patriots, Broncos. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. So, developing story. We'll definitely keep you up to date on the situation with Mr. Talib of the Denver Broncos, the world champions. They have another situation going on in Denver on that defense, that vaunted defense. Mr. Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, recently of Dancing with the Stars, as he was not able to go all the way through to the final round. But Von Miller is having some contract difficulties. There are reports that he doesn't want to play under the franchise tag. There are reports that the Broncos have offered him 6 years at $114.5 million, which he's turned down. There are reports that he actually hasn't turned it down, that they're still working on it. the guaranteed money seems to be sort of a issue here. Willie, what should Von Miller do? What should the Broncos do? What should Von Miller do about this contract scenario?
What do you mean, what should he do? He should take the money.
Just like that, huh?
I mean, seriously, think about it from this standpoint. This is the highest non-quarterback contract in the history of the league. Or you can not take it and play for just over $14 million this year and run the risk of getting injured. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Now, John Elway, I believe he set a deadline of the 15th of July, or the offer's going to be yanked off the table, and he'll play underneath the franchise tag.
Right.
I mean, this is more guaranteed money than J.J. Watt. I think J.J. Watt's guaranteed contract is around 29 or 30 million. But he is eyeing Ndamukong Suh, which I don't really blame him for that, because Suh hadn't really done anything on a scale in comparison to what this guy has done. I mean, he was the Willie Epting Jr. predicted Super Bowl MVP.
So.
Okay,
but I'm not hating.
So I can't get any credit, although you're throwing shade, even though I took the shade away from you earlier in the segment. But that's cool, though. That's cool. But I understand his mentality from that standpoint. Yeah. But is he going to be able to get 51 or 55 million guaranteed? I don't know, because they had to lock up Clady last year and Demaryius Thomas last year. Is he deserving of it? I think he is. But they have other needs that they're going to need to address, such as their quarterback situation going into maybe not this season, but next season.
Right. And Clady, you mentioned Clady. They signed him to a deal, but of course he's now been traded to the Jets after a couple of injury-plagued seasons for Denver. So it'll be fun to kind of figure out what's going to happen with the Von Miller situation. All right, Willie, we're quickly winding down here. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL Top 100. Since we were out last week, we're going to actually go through the last 20 players. First up, 60 to 51. Number 60, Reggie Nelson, safety of the Oakland Raiders. 59, Michael Bennett, defensive end of the Seahawks. Kawan Short, defensive tackle of the Carolina Panthers, is 58. Clay Matthews, linebacker, Green Bay Packers, 57. Hashtag I believe in Blake Bortles, quarterback, Jacksonville Jaguars, at number 56. A hero, a true hero, number 55, safety Eric Berry of the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 54, he played in the Super Bowl with a broken arm. Thomas Davis of the Carolina Panthers, linebacker. Another linebacker at 53, Levante David from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. World champion cornerback of the Denver Broncos, Chris Harris Jr. is number 52. And number 51, he's probably still saying, I caught it. Wide receiver, the Dallas Cowboys, Dez Bryant. Willie, your thoughts on 60 to 51?
I love the Blake Bortles selection. Led the league in completions of more than 20 yards last year. You can't say enough about Eric Berry coming off the disease in which he didn't even know if he was going to live, let alone play football again. Also, what I like to see on here, of course, with Berry and Bortles and Thomas Davis, is Kawan Short and Reggie Nelson. None of those guys were on this list last year.
Right. Chris Harris, Thomas Davis, Eric Berry, Blake Bortles, Kawan Short, Reggie Nelson, all not on the list in 2015. And I like to see, I really love to see Kawan Short be on here. He is the anchor of that Carolina defense. You got something else you want to say there?
Yeah, one more quick thing. Michael Bennett went from 90 to 60.
59.
I'm sorry. Yes, 90 to 59.
Yeah,
yes.
Reggie Nelson was 60. Like we said, new Oakland Raiders safety.
Homer.
Reggie Nelson. All right. Let's get 50 through 41 in here. Number 50, running back, Atlanta Falcons, Devontae Freeman. Number 49, Mississippi State University's own Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle from the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 48, defensive end, now of the Arizona Cardinals, Chandler Jones. Number 47, New Orleans, Louisiana, New York Giants quarterback, Eli Manning. Number 46, Phillip Rivers of the San Diego Chargers, their quarterback. Number 45, tackle Trent Williams from Washington. Number 44, Notre Dame's own Tyler Eifert, Cincinnati Bengals tight end. Number 43, Ezekiel Ansah, defensive end of the Detroit Lions. Number 42, tackle from the Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith. And number 41, even though he missed 10 games last year, Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell. Willie, let's get your thoughts. We got about 100 seconds left in the show, man.
Phillip Rivers is still that guy. Eli Manning showed up last year, did some great things.
Yeah, that Giants versus Saints game, that'll go down in the annals of regular season games in NFL history. Those dudes combined for, 13 touchdown passes in that game?
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Good to see new blood on the list again here with Devontae Freeman in his second year, number 50. Fletcher Cox at 49. Chandler Jones at 48, even though he's going to be playing for a new team. Ezekiel Ansah, he didn't start playing football until 2010. And he's number 43 on this list. Willie, we got less than a minute to go. Let's get your quick final thoughts in, sir.
Yeah, shout out to all of the recent high school graduates, our good friends and nephews, Jarrell McGill going off to Abilene Christian, Colin Whitaker, who we both had both of them on show, going off to Rice University. And, of course, my first main man, Jalen Epting, graduated from South Grand Prairie High School. Love you, man. You're going off to Tarleton State. Your life is just about to get better.
Indeed. Proud of my nephew, proud of all the things that he's accomplished and will accomplish. And, yeah, Willie, I just actually want to piggyback on what you said. Congrats to all of the class of 2016, both high school, college, career technical programs, whatever you have graduated in. Congratulations on making that step in your lives. All right, let's wind this show on down. We enjoyed it as always. For Dwayne, for Willie, I'm Donnie. You've been listening to the End Zone Sports Show. Stay tuned for From Press Box to Press Row with Donald Ware, and we'll talk to you again soon. We are out.